Hey everyone, welcome back to course, and in this lecture we are going to learn how we can create our own ABAX REST web service. So the use case is we need to create a very basic simple web service which is going to return a welcome message to the system who is consuming our web service, and after developing this web service we are also going to test this web service using Workbench, that is a web service testing tool for us as of now, and then going forward we will also use Postman and other web service testing tools as well. So let's quickly develop our own web service. So this is our environment where we are working, and the brand new environment. So what we did is we just created a class. We are going to change the class access modifiers and provide some annotations which are required annotation. So what we need to do is we need to use @REST resource, which is a required annotation in order to make any class or in order to consume our class as a REST or SOAP web service, and it accepts one parameter, that is URL mapping, and here we can provide what URL we wanted to give to our web service. So suppose that here we wanted to give as a version 1, and then we can say that welcome message or just welcome, and if you wanted to give some kind of wildcard characters you can give here. Putting the star means that anything we can pass after this particular URL, like after putting this URL we can pass anything here. Now next thing that we need to do is we discuss that it should always be global, that's why we are making as a global, and the other thing that we discussed here, let's quickly make is that a global. Again we are putting a global variable here, and then we have got this string which is saying welcome to SFDC Panther integration tutorials. Now what we need to do is we need to create a method which will be executed whenever we are trying to make a GET request to this URL. So how we can do that? To do that, what we need to do is we need to create a method here. So we will again create a global method. We will say global static, as it is going to return a message which is in form of a string. We are going to say that string, and then we need to say here is greeting message. That's it. We are not going to accept any parameters or anything, and then what we will do is we will return this. And we no need to do anything. We just are returning a single parameter which is welcome message. Okay, it should be static, so let's quickly make it as global final static string, because it's a static method, that's why it must need to access all the parameters or all the variables which are defined as static. Now doing this will also not work. Next thing that we need to do is we discuss that we have got some annotated methods which we need to use. So to use or to make any method work as a GET request, what we need to do is we just need to put a basic annotation after, or we can say that on top of a method, which is http@get. So whenever user will make a request to this URL, and user is trying to make a GET request, that means method is GET, this particular our method is going to execute it, and we will get the result, whatever result we are sending from here. Now suppose that if you are trying to make two different methods with the same annotation, you are going to get an error. It will say that only one method can have for a particular service with the same annotation. You can see here only one method per type. Per type means the URL that we are having here. So we need to delete this, either this one or the other one that we just created here. So this is how simple you can create. Or if you wanted to create some other messages, like saying that you wanted to say http post, and we say that post greeting message, and if you wanted to return something you can return, you wanted to create some records like account, contact, or some custom objects, you can do that here, and if you will save this it will also work. It will not give you any kind of error. So now this is this is a very basic that we created. Now what will be the final URL that your system will be consuming. System means either our Salesforce itself while testing from a Workbench, or some other system which is trying to consume our web service. What will be the URL? So for that, it will be the base URL of our Salesforce environment, which is this in our case. So how it will be? So let's say that we can say that REST service URL. So it will like the base URL, and then the URL that we have here. But before that, we need to define that it's a service. Services, what kind of service it is? It is an Apex which we are consuming as a REST. So it will be Apex REST, and then we have to provide our URL. So even after here, you can provide some kind of values, as because we said as a wild character here, that is asterisk. So this will be the URL that your third-party system will be consuming in order to access these methods. Now third party will not specify either they want to access this method or this method. They will specify either they wanted to get, post, update or delete, and then based on the annotation, this method will get executed. If user is putting get, that means this method will get executed. User is saying that post, this method will get executed. And suppose that if you wanted to here, even let's say that HTTP patch, which is update, this method is going to execute it. And even we said that updated with patch. Okay, what we got here is, okay, this is a final string method. All okay, the method is here, sorry. So it is a post, and we can say that here patch. Now we saved our class. Now we have got three, one for get, one for post, and one for patch here, which is actually for updating. Now how it will work? To test this, let's quickly open Workbench, and to open the Workbench, we have got workbench.developerforce.com. You need to hit enter. For this URL, it will take you to the login page, and in the login page, you have option to select environment, which is production or sandbox. So we are working in a developer, which is a production. Agree the services and click on login with Salesforce. So here we need to allow, it is asking us to allow with the environment which we are logged in. I'm going to allow this here, and it will take us to the Salesforce Workbench page. Now we are here. From here, how we can test that? Go to the utilities tab and then select here Apex REST Explorer. So here we have got this. This is our URL by default, which will give you the information about your org. That means what custom objects are there, objects, fields, metadata, some kind of reports and dashboards, everything you will get from here. Now how we can access our web service? So our web service is saying that we need to develop this kind of URL. So where we need to put this? Let's quickly try to put. Why we are trying to putting here? It will be always having the base URL of your environment by which you are logged in, because we are logged in here, so we need no need to provide this particular this URL, and it is always having services as a base URL. So we just need to provide our URL, which is saying that Apex REST version 1, and then welcome. So we selected method as a get. In the header, if you see here, we are sending content type as application JSON, and we are also saying we are going to accept JSON here. So let's quickly execute this and see what happens, what information we are getting. You can see here we are getting welcome to SFDC Panther. Why we are getting each and every word separated or segregated? Because it's an string, and we are accepting, or we are expecting the response in a JSON form. Again, let's have a look as a header. We are expecting information in JSON form. That's why it is breaking into the different lines. If we show here raw response, we can see the raw response is what we actually wanted, or what we are actually sending here. Now if we talk about patch, which we used here, so again patch is for updating some information. Definitely it will ask us to provide a body, and for post even it will definitely ask us to provide a body. So what we can do is, at it is accepting a body in form of JSON, we can quickly say here name. That's it, just for testing purpose. It will not do anything, but to make sure that our method is working. So we selected post this time, execute this, and you can see that we are getting the response, and the response is here. In case of patch, we made some changes. What changes we made here is, we can execute and see if we are getting response. We are getting response, and we are getting updated with patch. So if we select raw response, we can see what we are sending from our Apex class. So this is how you can test, or you can develop your Apex REST services. You can test with the help of Workbench. We will also test going forward with some other testing tool, that is Postman. So this is it for this lecture. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will see you in next lecture. Thank you.